In this lecture, we are going to see what is Python. So let's get started. In Python documentation, you can read a lot of things about Python. The Python is easy to learn, powerful, it has efficient data structures and object-oriented programming approach, elegant syntax, dynamic typing, interpreters, and all those important things. So I'm gonna save you some time and tell you some important facts that why people prefer Python. So here are some advantages. First thing is that Python is a high-level language. Of course, we talked about high-level and low-level languages. Python is much high-level language and it's very readable for humans. It is very understandable and easy to understand in English. So that is the basic thing about high-level languages. Next one is interpreted. So as you know, Python is an interpreted language. Rather than directly using compiler, it uses interpreter in between. And next is interactive. Python also provides a interactive shell which we can use to make some awesome scripts that we will see in the future lecture. Another is the dynamic nature of Python. Python is dynamically typed, so it's very easy to get started with the Python. Another thing is that Python is a modular programming language. It has a lot of modules. It has some awesome libraries that includes areas like string operation, internet, web service tools, operating system interfaces and protocols, and many other things. So basically in the second last point, I say batteries included. So that is the nature of Python, which says it comes with batteries included. Now another thing is object-oriented approach of Python. So as we all know, object-oriented programming is much efficient than general programming or streamlined programming, we can say. And then the object-oriented feature of Python is always helpful. As we all know, object-oriented programming languages are much easy to use and much more efficient than other languages. Next thing is that Python is portable. So as we know, Python runs on a virtual machine. So as long as your system got PVM, you can run your code anywhere on any system. It is not bound to a particular system. So Python is much portable than other languages. And then we already talked about batteries included. The last thing that is very important, extensible with C and C++. So if you want a certain module or certain functionality to your code, which is not by default available in Python and you can't implement it, you can always go back and write your own code in C or C++ to get your Python additional features and functionalities. So as you can see, there is an asterisk there. Why is that? Because Python has multiple versions like CPython, JPython or Jython people say. So you can also use Jython, which uses Java as its main source. So you can also extend Jython's capabilities with Java. You can also learn about that in Python documentation. And now let's talk about some disadvantages. So there are some disadvantages to Python, which can be a hurdle if you are trying to use Python in a particular condition that doesn't actually make use of Python in a good way. So as you know, Python is a dynamically typed website and it's interpreted. So due to its interpreted nature, it sometimes challenges us with the design issues of the program. We only get those issues or errors whenever we run the code because as we know, Python is interpreted. Next thing is that Python is slow in speed. Due to its interpreted nature, it converts the bytecode and then bytecodes gets executed in Python virtual machine. So that process is running each time a Python code runs. So that is a pretty slow process to run rather than fully compiled binary of any other programming language. Another disadvantage of Python is that it is weak in mobile computer. Although there are some frameworks like Kiwi who provides us the ability to make a Python program to run in multiple platforms like Android and iOS, but still this is not the highest level or highest performing level that we can achieve with the Python. So for now, Python is not that much powerful in mobile environment. Another disadvantage that I think is very important to focus on is that people get so much comfortable with Python that they always try to use Python anywhere that they can. So if you are one of them who thinks Python is only thing that they will learn and they should learn, then you are wrong. You should also learn some other programming languages which will help you in a particular task. Python is not the only tool which can rule on all kingdoms. So try to use other programming languages also if you can for certain purposes. Don't just go with Python and try to do everything in Python only approach. So that is a disadvantage that Python's easiness gives you. So now let's see who uses Python. So many tech giants like Facebook uses Python. Instagram also uses Python in its backend. The Instagram's main code is, I guess, in Django, which is a framework developed in Python. Google also uses Python in many purposes. They also declared its officially accepted language in their campus. Netflix and Spotify also uses Python for data science and analytical purposes. So they also process a lot of data, a lot of analytics in their backend using Python. Microsoft also uses Python for various tools. And yes, I also use Python a lot. but for various projects I am personally a big fan of Django. So it's an awesome framework that we will also talk about in future lecture. Thanks everyone. I will see you in the next lecture.